thing go live.
Okay,
Oh, never mind, we live.
we live. Okay, cool beans. I need to make sure that we're on YouTube though, because
It'll show up. There's always a delay.
oh, is it? Oh, it
Yeah,
has
but
to show.
everything that we're talking about now is going to show up.
Okay, that's cool.
Mhm.
Okay, cool beans. I know it says like a 10-second.
Everything that we're talking about now is going to show up.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
live on YouTube now.
okay. Cool beans. All right. Well, thank you guys. Welcome, of course, to the Married Millennial Podcast. It's so nice having y'all here. And I was extremely excited to have this show because I normally feel like my audience is more women. And also at the same time, I know women really love to hear from men. We like to know questions. We like to know. And as a wife, too, I know that there needs to be spaces for men to be able to get what they need to say or like how they feel out as well. So I really do understand how important this space is, and so I'm extremely appreciative um, of you all being here. So thank you guys for joining us so much. Thank you.
No
Um,
problem.
hey
Thank you
Curt,
for having me.
thank you for joining us. Okay. I know it's a delay, like about 10 seconds, guys, just to let you guys know. But I want to start us off with an icebreaker, so that way
Hey,
you guys
how's it
get a chance.
going?
What's up? What's up? I want us to get a chance, you guys to get a chance to introduce yourselves and to let everybody know who you are. But I want to start it off with an icebreaker question. So, my first question is 1 second. Okay. Would you rather have invisibility or flight? And so, when you answer this question, I want you to also introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Anything interesting about you. You can give us your relationship status and or how long you've been together. However, whatever you feel. But just please tell us your name and answer the question. Would you rather have invisibility or flight?
I can go.
Stability or
My
what?
name or flight.
Flight, like to fly.
Or to be invisible.
I
Invisibility.
told you I can't really hear you. You distorted.
Yes,
Somebody else
you.
can repeat the question for me.
Okay. Let me see if I can put it on the
She was
screen.
saying, would you rather have invisibility or flight?
I think
Like
it's
to
something wrong
fly.
with my thing.
Yeah, I heard it perfect.
Yeah,
I
you.
think I got it said that either had the ability to fight or fly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Who said they want to go first?
I can go. All right. My name's Mo. We have our podcast, Any and Everything podcast. You guys can check us out. I would choose to fly because I would like to be free. Not free from relationship wise, just free within yourself, right? I've been married to my wife for about 7 years going. I've met her back in '03. We were off and on for 10 years, and a lot of people loved her. And they, Trina, how you doing? I'm sorry, it's a habit. We do that on our podcast.
Hey, Trina.
um, we I finally everybody loved her, and I finally when all my friends were like married and locked down, I said, all right, let me go ahead and a buddy of mine actually wrote a letter to my wife to let her know that Ramona is the guy that you want to be with, you know.
Okay.
And what's crazy is I don't even talk to the guy no more, but she still has a letter, and I still haven't seen it to this day. But whatever was in that letter placed me and my wife together, and we're still together to this day. And we have three
Wow.
kids together. Yeah. So that's
I love.
me. The more, we talk through this podcast, the more you get to know me, definitely. Very friendly, very open, and I'm happy to be on your show. Thank you.
No, thank you for being
Mhm.
here. I appreciate you.
Yep.
Love Fatima.
Well, if we're going in order, I'll go next. My name's Ralph. From Detroit, but I'm living here in North Carolina. I'm also a part of the Any and Everything podcast that airs at 3 p.m. on Sundays. I would take flight, mostly because I live here in North Carolina. I got to pay for a plane ticket to fly home. And I'll just go ahead and fly back to the crib. You know what I'm saying? Mine's real simple. I probably would do nothing special with it other than fly places, but that's about it. I am married. Me and my wife have been together for 8 years. Um, Oddly enough, I met my wife on Facebook through a friend. Stuff just kind of took off. She approached me, which is not something, most guys are not used to, where they try to come at you, but she came at me, and it just been good ever since. That's I mean, I really don't know what else really to say
That's cool.
about myself.
That's good. Thank you for sharing that. That was cool.
All right, and I appreciate you having me on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah. And if you see me looking down, I'm trying to share your stream, so I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Oh no,
Okay.
that's good.
All right.
Okay, I go next. I'm Dom. My wife is the lovely Jaquita. We've been together since 2014. So what is that? Is that 8 years?
8 years. Yeah.
8 years, yeah. We've been married for 4 years now, and it's been cool. It's been cool. We have 3 kids now.
You just gotta say that because I'm on here because he's not.
Nah, it has its ups and downs, but overall, I love it. Cool. But as far as the question goes, I would probably choose to be invisible sometimes. Only because life is so busy. I think it got a lot to do with just me being an introvert and wanting to escape from people sometimes. Like I still want to be here, but sometimes I just don't be wanting to be bothered. I just like my me time, just in my own little space. So yeah.
What's up?
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
I go next. If you don't mind, my name is Kenzie. I would say I would do flight. I would like to go everywhere. It's like I didn't start flying until I was 25. So I'm 32 now. So I wanted to see the world. That's my goal. That's been my goal as a kid. So I choose flight. For me and my wife, I'm married. It'll be 6 years next month. With me and my wife, we've been together since 2013, so 9 years, and then married for 6 years. Me and my wife, we end up meeting back in high school in 2007. We wasn't together nothing back then, but we end up just kicking it off. That was like my best friend, I would say. And we end up parting ways for a couple of years. We still stayed in contact, but when we got back in contact, it was kind of like set in stone. I would say something about myself. I would say I'm a little cool, laid back. I'm an introvert, extrovert, depending on the crowd I'm around. I can be a mixture of both. But I'm a fun guy overall. All my friends say that I'm pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? My wife would say the same thing. Thank you, Jaquita, for allowing me to be on this show as well.
Absolutely, no problem. Thanks, Kenzie, for being on here. Thank you, Robin, and thank you, Mel B, for coming on. Hey, how are you guys? I know Mel B. I know you're from the Any and Everything podcast with Ralph Moan. Nice seeing you. I know you're on the last episode.
And Robin is Ralph's wife.
That's
wow. Okay. Hi, Robin.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, it's gonna be interesting with wives joining to see how you guys respond to things. You got to go home, so. Okay, King, you want to go next?
What's up, everybody? Y'all doing all right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. How about you, bro?
I'm good. I'm from Detroit. I've been in a 4-year relationship right now. It's been amazing. Develop a partnership and just working on growing together. If I could pick one or the other, I would definitely say fly, just to be able to get from point A to B quicker, better like that. I don't want to go too deep on it, but yeah, I just leave it at that.
It's okay. Thank you for joining. Absolutely.
No problem.
Hi, Carmela. How are you? And Robin said wifey in the building. Absolutely. Okay.
And there's my wife, Alexander Johnson.
Oh, yes. Hey. Hi. Everybody's in the building. We appreciate you guys coming along to join. Okay, Mr. Curt, would you like to go next?
Of course. Can y'all hear me good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. So first and foremost, thank you for allowing me to be on this space. Just to be around like-minded individuals and men, black men specifically is even better, man. Just so we can share our own stories. I can learn from y'all. Y'all can learn from me. I'm originally from Detroit. I live here in Atlanta, Georgia now. I'm an actor, writer, producer, director. So a lot of stuff going on. But my main job is to be a husband. I've been married to my wife for 5 years now. We've been together for about 9. Marriage is the most beautiful thing if you do it right. So that's all I would say on that. And I would definitely choose. I felt like for my like to be.
Did you say? Oh, I'm sorry, it's breaking up.
If the meeting was my, you hear me?
I think that's his internet. I think your internet's messing up, bro.
Yeah. It went completely now it's frozen.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you're back. Wait, no, it's still frozen. Okay.
Sorry, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we didn't know. We didn't know if you said flight or invisibility. It went out right at
Got it. The devil messing with my Wi-Fi, so we're not gonna let that happen. I said I'd rather be invisible. I would, on the professional side, I want to be in those rooms where if someone seen me, that they would be like, "Who is this guy?" So I would want to go there and be able to pick the brains of people, be at those bigger tables until I get there with my presence. But on the other side of that, like Dom said, I'm not an introvert. I like to look at myself as an extroverted introvert. So I am an extrovert, but I like to, take my time to myself and isolate myself. So I would definitely say being invisible for sure.
Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being on the show.
Of course.
Okay, AK, your turn.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, yeah. I don't have a podcast or nothing like that. I have a regular job. I work at Chrysler, which is now called Stellantis. I've been there 12 years. I've been with my wife for a year, married. Well, we've been together almost 5 years. Come the end of this year. I would choose flight.
It was on a podcast episode that I did with blended families, and they were amazing.
Awesome.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
I would have to choose flight because of time. I feel like it's time in the day to do a lot of things I like to do with me, myself, my family, and friends, and just all around with working as well too. So yeah, I would have to choose flight.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for introducing yourselves. I guess I'll go and say what I would choose since I had y'all ask the question. I didn't really think about it when I decided to ask this, but I probably would choose. I would probably say invisibility at this point in my life. I probably would have said flight before, but I feel like invisibility too, because I'm always being pulled in so many directions, and sometimes I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be. So when we wore masks and hats, I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I could try to act invisible when I go out and when I go do things." It just made me feel comforted and safe sometimes to not have to interact or say hi or to smile. So I would choose invisibility as well at this moment in my life. So absolutely. I'm Jakita. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to hop right into the questions. Zoe Hampton said, "Hey everyone, what up to my ANEP brothers?" Absolutely. Thank you guys for joining. Your audience is here. They wasn't playing no games.
No, we told them to come show some love.
Yeah, that's why it shows up.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate you guys so much. I really do. Yep. Okay, we're gonna jump right in because I don't want to hold you guys forever. We have a few questions on the floor. So some of these questions I did receive from Facebook. Some of them I received from just women I know or just people in general. Some of these things I came up with on my own. The question that I want to ask first, I should have put them in order. What causes the most stress for you in your role of being a husband or a long-term companion? So if you're just in a relationship, but I think everybody except King is married at this point, what causes the most stress for you in your role of being a husband?
Oof.
Anybody can answer.
Okay, I would say for me is in the world we live in is probably protecting my family. because I can't be everywhere at the same time. We have 3 kids, so plus her. So it's like if the kids are at school or she's out and about, it's like if something happened, I can't be at every place at every time. I think that's the biggest thing for me is like keeping my family protected in this crazy world that we live in today. I think that's the biggest thing that stresses me out because that's something I can't control, especially when I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree that that is pretty stressful, man. Compared to when we are, I'm in my 30s, so I don't know, the age group here, but it sounds like we're kind of around the same age, and that's one of the things you got to think about, right? So, when I was growing up, we always had to think about the racial issue, right? When you're dealing with police officers and being a stereotype and all the other stuff. Now you have to add, school shootings. You have to add this new thing that they're pushing, where it's not forcing. I get it, right? The whole LGBTQ stuff, and now you got to explain that as well on top of everything. Nothing wrong with it. You got to love everybody. But you got to take in all these factors, right? And you got to, Bible tells us train up a child in the way you should go. So and we got to try to do the best we can. Also with love everybody. That's really stressful, right? And in addition to that is this thing about society and us men and our expectations of what they portray that we're supposed to. That's very stressful. When you got to be the one or the brunt of everything, or I mean, I'm not wrong. There's nothing wrong with crying. I don't cry as much, but we have this thing where we're not supposed to cry, or that perception of it. That's stressful in itself, especially when you're dealing with a lot. You got to handle it all, and you always got somebody to tell you to man up. Real men are going to man up regardless. But a lot of people don't understand the steps in between to man up, right? And on our podcast, we talk about it a lot. We deal with men, mental health, first time impressions, family, that type of stuff. And we have our own little spin and comedy to it, because we don't want to be too serious and and try not to give some people something to laugh about. But in my factor of all that, it's just a combined element on top of what AK said, on top of what society portrays us that we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to do. Now, I was always taught, as a man, this is what you do, of course, right? But it's the expectation of it, where when you're down, out, you're beat up, and you need to get up and do this other thing. So that's one of mine. Sorry if I took too much time, fellas.
Oh no, I'll go in and jump. I would say the stress comes from trying to be the perfect husband. For me, I'm a stickler to making sure that my wife is the happiest woman on earth. And that adds stress to me, but I use that stress to make sure I have that chip on my shoulder to make sure that I'm doing the right things to lead this household and to make sure she's happy. So I would say it's stress, but I use it as pressure, and pressure make diamonds. So that's where I'm at with it.
I feel you on that, and that's a big thing for me too, trying to be the perfect husband. Sometimes you don't have all the answers, but you feel like you need to have all the answers. And I feel like as a man, you need to try to find a way to get the answers, even if you don't have them. We get a lot of pressure because we as men feel that we have to step up in those roles no matter what. And like Moan said, we shouldn't cry. We shouldn't be down. We take those hits, we take those punches, and we keep them moving, and for me, one of the hardest things is actually laying that stress out on the table for my wife to understand what I'm going through. I understand some of my faults are I'm not the greatest communicator. I bottle stuff up, I throw it in the trash. So I'm like, I'll pick it up later, and I usually never pick it up, but it's still there. What I'm saying? It's things that I could try to ignore, but they're still there. And to me is trying to find the right time to express my feelings and concerns and issues, because I don't want my problems to become her problems. I want to take my problems, make them my problems, to be able to take her problems and her issues and me look like, I have no problems. I'm just here to take care of you. Now, I know it's not healthy, but in a way that's sort of how I'm not going to say I was completely raised that way, but I thought that's how it's supposed to go. It is something that I'm working on. But once again, that's just one of the things that's hard for me being married, because like AK said, I'm trying to be the perfect husband. In my eyes, the perfect husband doesn't complain, he doesn't have issues. She's not doing anything wrong. She's doing everything right. Even though in your head you have issues with some of the things she may be doing, you don't want to say anything because you don't want to create that conflict or that space between you and your wife. At least for me. I'm just speaking for me.
No, I mean,
even though y'all,
I'll go ahead.
No, you go ahead, please.
Oh, I don't mean to cut you off, my bad. But yeah, I definitely can relate to that too. Like for me, I can be in the middle of just like trying to figure out like what I want to do in life, because it's like it's still like a learning process. Like I don't know everything. I don't have all the answers. I'm still learning myself and what I like and what I dislike in life. But as soon as my wife, she mentions some things that she's stressed about, I drop everything that I'm doing and I tend to her. And I'm the same way with my kids too. And it's just like, so I guess my biggest stress is just like finding time management to just manage what I want to do in life and like find my
That balance.
space. Just a balance, just doing what I need to do for myself. And then just my wife understanding that and my kids understanding that too, so I can just have some type of peace in my life. Not saying I don't have peace, but just it'd be more peaceful once I get my time management under control. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I hop in and just say communication wise, that would be like the biggest stress for me in my relationship, because I feel like at times I'm not the best communicator. As a man, I feel like I put some things to a side if I'm working, or if I'm out and about, I just push things to a side, and then my wife's just getting mad, like, yeah, you need to reach out to me so we can talk a little bit more. So to be that stress reliever, I feel like the communication and then time management as well. I feel like out of the 12 hours in a day, the time that you had to spend with your significant other is not enough. It's not enough time. Communication and time management, along with every other thing that the gentleman has said, because it can be a cluster of things, of different communication, different things we all go through.
I'll go next. One thing that I kind of don't want to use the word stress. I kind of want to just say one thing that like gets me like focused on it would be communication as well. Just making sure I can cater to each conversation the most effective and efficient way. You know what I mean? Sometimes as a man versus a female, we don't look at things like how they look at it. We just trying to handle it. And when you communicate with somebody, it can come off the wrong way, but you got the best intention. So I would just say work on just handling each situation to be able to communicate, say the right thing to get across, and overclouded by demeanor or a use of word.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all for answering that. That was really helpful. And I just want to say that this is the perfect space to be able to hear what men, especially married men and men in general, feel like is their stressors in a relationship. And mostly overall, I heard time, trying to be the perfect husband. So balance, trying to be the perfect husband, and protection, and communication. So thank you guys for sharing that.
Hey,
I want to, absolutely.
I think the reason why, because a lot of us, a lot of them, I'll say us because we all in the same podcast. Communication is because as men, we are told not to complain. We are told not to worry, and stuff like that. And I think that if a man does complain or have an issue, it comes off as being weak. So I think now that men are starting to realize like it's okay to stress your grievances to your significant other or just in life in general, and things will go smoother. But I think on the women's, from their view, if they wasn't raised by a certain type of a man, they don't understand that type of communication. Like one of the things that you see a lot now is that single parent households, and I think that'd be an issue. So a lot of men be reluctant to communicate because they see or went through where they do communicate something, it get brushed off. So it's like, why even say anything when if I have it doesn't hurt? I see that a lot, and I hear that a lot from a lot of men.
Yeah, it kind of leads on to the point I was saying, where society has this perception of us and how we should be, and that whole strong and weak thing is part of that.
Yeah.
But we also take on what society thinks we should be. We all have these feelings, that's how we should be because that's what we're shown, right?
Right.
Everybody feels that we need to be strong. We need to be able to suck stuff up because that's what the world shows us, and like I said, we know it's not completely right. We all got our own issues, right? So we all got problems that we want to express and express to people, but we don't want to jump in that space and cause problems. So we suck it up. We put it in the back and we roll with it. And I mean, I know people that's been doing that their whole life, and a lot of times it shows on their face. They may be happy with their significant other, but they have their own problems and they don't know how to deal with them.
And that's not healthy.
It's not healthy. It's not healthy
It
at all.
bottles up, and it's gonna eventually come out.
And that's why I say and I think we all say communication when it comes to our issues is the biggest things, because we all know also that it bottles up, and we worried about when that straw breaks that camel's back, what's gonna happen. What I'm saying? We're gonna cut somebody out, we're gonna snap, we're gonna walk off, we're gonna leave, and nobody wants to get to that point. But at the same time, we don't know how to express our issues.
Yeah.
And like I said, and to piggyback off that, I think the reason why we don't express our issues because when we do, we get looked at as weak. So it's like even if you start to say something like, well, today I don't feel like this, like, oh, here you go. But if you actually have somebody here to listen to you, I think the communication part will diminish. But I think that's probably like the biggest thing. Not for me, because I love to talk, but I just think in general, just for most men, especially black men, is communication. Like you hear a lot of I work at a plant, so I hear men all day talk about like their life, and they'd be like, you can't say that to your wife, or you can't say that to your girlfriend. They just be looking like, well, I just take out my frustration here, and it's sad, man. It's real sad.
Yeah.
Well, you should always want to put yourself around people where you can be yourself. If you want to show emotion freely, that's why one of those reasons why I chose flight, right? Then you should be able to do that around the people you love. And that's why marriage is so important, because you should be able to do that with your wife or whoever you're with without it being a problem. And also, you also got to take the attitude and not care what other people think. Be yourself. You know what I'm saying? And if they feel like that's weak, and they feel like that they think it's a real man not to do that, then don't associate yourself with those people. And what makes it so bad, some of them are our closest friends. Someone you know for years, right? And you can't, and you just got to learn to. I mean, Ralph and I, we lost a lot of friends just because we want to take that next step and next level in our lives. And if we can't be on the same plane now. Of course, when we were all younger, we had a different perception, because I'm pretty sure we all have done some stupid stuff when we were young. But we also got to the point of our life where we decided to make a change and want to be better, especially when you have kids, right? That helps you even further your decision making. So I don't want to take too much time on it, but that's important.
But then my question to you all is, how do you go to your wives and say, hey, I can't tell you things? So how do you say to someone, there's things I want to share with you, but I can't share them with you, or I don't know how? I feel like what you said earlier, Ralph, is that sometimes men play into those stigmas. I think as people in general, sometimes when there's stigmas on us by society, we each play into those stigmas even more, even though we know that they're a problem as well and we're complaining about them. But it's like, for men, how do you tell your wife, like, hey, because not all women understand or provide that safe space for their men because of what they learned, like you said, AK, about men and how men are supposed to act. So how does that work for you?
I'll say it's not how you do. It's not how you say things, how you do them. So if you know your wife and know that you can be vulnerable with her, because this is who else you're gonna be vulnerable with. Like, this is your spouse. This is the person that you should be able to talk to. You should be able to cry to. You should be able to do anything, and they help you and pick you up. But if you can't do that, then just put the ball in their court and use scenarios that they can understand, that they are interested in, things that matters to them most, and the way that they communicate with you as well. So it's all about how you word things and put it into perspective for them to understand you and hear you out.
That's true. You know, with my wife though, it got to one of those boiling points, and I was like, yeah, I gotta say something. You know, and the crazy part was at the end of everything. She was like, why didn't you say anything before? You know, and I'm looking like, why would I say something before? You know, I'm supposed to be able to carry this stuff, you know. I'm not supposed to be able to just, you know, blurt it out and put this on you because I'm worried about how stressed she's going to be behind what I said. But like I said, you know, it gets to that point and it's like either I say something or it's going to turn ugly. You know, you don't want to say something out of anger. You don't want to walk away from the situation. I've got 2 kids. I love my wife, you know, and it sucks because sometimes it does get to that point where I'm just upset, but I don't want to start an argument because I don't want to be confrontational with my wife. So I shut down. But then eventually it's like, okay, she's going to think something outside of the box. Nothing around or what's actually going on. Nothing about the actual situation. When you stop talking, all that does is fester bad thoughts. So eventually, you know, and sometimes it's something real simple, you know, and I mean, just being honest, you know, me and the wife, we had a disagreement here recently. And like I said, I'm bad at communicating. I shut down. I didn't say anything. And she was like, yo, what is your problem? Like, talk to me. Tell me what's going on. And I'm like, okay, she asked. I can't say nothing and then be mad about it later because she gave me that opportunity to speak my mind. Right. So I told her. We talked it out. We figured it out. We were good. And like I said, I know my issue is communication, but it's something that I'm learning to fix. And it's not easy, but eventually you got to do it. If you want it to last, you got to do it because
that comes with longevity. That comes with longevity.
I'm trying to tell you, man. The more you learn your spouse. And don't get me wrong, you know, we've been together for 8 years, December 19th. You know, it took many years for me to be like, you know what? I can just go ahead and say it. Don't worry about what she's going to think. Don't worry about what she's going to say. Go ahead and say it. That way you get off your chest. And sometimes you get it off your chest. You're like, damn, I feel great. That was actually pretty cool. And then it's like, but is she mad though?
Right.
You got to not care after that. As long as you say what you got to say.
But is she mad though? So, you know, eventually you just got to come out and say it. I can't say, you know, how to do it. Because for me, it took years. For some people, they're like, you know what? Let me just go talk to her. Let me go tell her what's going on. Some people just bottle it up and never say anything.
If you bottle it up, you know what I'm saying? You will end up snapping and you won't even realize that you snap. And the messed up thing is, with bottling things up, because I bottle things up coming up like as a youth, like I just something that I adjusted to. But being in a marriage, like I would say, like I've snapped on my wife unintentionally by mistake. But once we actually came to like the good communication, you know what I'm saying? We got to come to each other like at a great space. Like once I did snap, I came back and I realized the situation wasn't even, you know what I'm saying? It had nothing to do with her. It was everything that was going on with me. Because sometimes it don't even have anything to do with the other person. It could be self things that you be going through. You can be going through, you can stub your toe, you know what I'm saying, in the hallway or something like that. With just something small, but coming to that person, well, coming to my wife at a calmer tone, and tone is everything, I would say, because I can't be yelling and screaming and trying to get my point across, because that won't do anything. That will,
especially for women. Most women shut down when men start yelling or your voice gets too loud. Like we shut down. So I mean, you got to be mindful of that.
Yeah, you do. You do because
I agree.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, AK.
Okay. Because I feel like when you communicate, especially when it's you would if you was telling her.
Oh, dang it! It's breaking up.
Yeah, you breaking up, Brody.
Oh, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, now I hear you at all.
It went mute.
Yeah.
And he froze.
But yeah, I'll jump in here real quick. So I'm looking at me now.
Yeah.
There you go.
You back.
Okay, I don't know what happened. Maybe my parlay hit. I don't know. with the communication thing, I feel like use the same tone that you would if you was giving her some money or giving her good news. And I learned that even before I got married, that just communicating people with issues, just use a regular tone and not nothing aggressive or passive aggressive.
Yeah,
I like that advice.
I agree.
yeah. The tone of voice it regulates your whole situation. You come in there hot and loud, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear that.
People get on the defense, just like
Yeah.
if your wife came in there like you this and start blaming and criticizing you, you're automatically wanting to defend yourself before you hear what she's saying. So I know as wives, we also have to work on our deliverance and how we express what we need and what we don't like, what's not going on in a better way. Not with an attitude, not waiting till we also get, boiled up and been tolerating too much. We have to come as well with that same energy that we want to receive back, because we can't give something and then expect y'all to be calm, but I'm blaming and criticizing you, and so it has to go both ways if we want to have those solid conversations, to be able to feel like our husbands can come to us and we can come to him to talk about things that are hard to even deal with or understand ourselves. So
yeah, and I'll say this: both parties are human, right? So I just looked up the definition of marriage. It's a formal union and social and legal contract between two individuals that unites their lives. Two individuals, right? So we are one of those individuals, and we have our spouse, which is the other one. If we're not good mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, then the marriage won't work. So if one person is at 100% and we're at 15%, that's not a healthy marriage. I talked to my therapist, and she say we have these bulbs over our heads. So if her light bulb is red and mine is green, that equals red. You know what I mean? So we have to make sure that both parties are green, so your marriage can be green. It's 3 people in a marriage. It's me, her, and us. So if she's not good, then us is not good. And if I'm not good, then us is not good. So focus on yourself, communicate with your wife and say, I'm not 100% right now. I had a terrible day. I can't do this right now. And she has to respect that. But you also got to do your part to come back to her when you're ready to talk and break it out and communicate with her, so she can help you through.
Yeah.
I like that. Mel B said she liked that too. I know there's comments, but it's not, I can't read all the comments at the same time, but I will go back. Thank you all for commenting. I appreciate you guys. I do like that concept as well. You guys are dropping some gems today. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next question. Now, this question is a little bit, well, I'm just put it out there. We are grown. It says, how often do you expect sex from your partner?
Realistically,
I mean, I'll go. We men, right? Let's just face it. We like it all the time. But to be fair, either 2 or 3 times a week at least.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I think that's
But if you want to give me extra, I'm cool with it. I love you, baby. We gonna do something tonight.
I'm gonna say here, man. I'll say I wouldn't put a number on it. I will put emotions and feelings into it, because if I'm showing her and doing things that leads to it, or if I just came back from the gym, how about the shower? It's scenario. You know what I mean? What am I doing to keep myself up? What is she doing to make sure that I'm sexually satisfied? Sometimes if we getting real here, sometimes she might wake up in the morning and brush her teeth and I'm still asleep. She might wake me up to it. You know what I mean? So that's the things that I expect. I don't expect it 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
I think we all love spontaneous moments, right? When wife just surprises and take over. So that's not a question.
I can't stand some scheduled intercourse. That is,
No.
I can't.
It's not real.
Not the intercourse though.
When you say, all right, Wednesday, 8 o'clock is going down, like, yo, I don't I don't want to pull up like it's a job. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, just
But
let
what
me a
if
little
you
bit of something.
well, what if you have to though? Because some people so busy, like
Well,
and,
yeah,
and
lives do get in the way, right?
and
Lives,
if you
busyness.
don't have
But
time, you gotta make time.
But
So
I
what makes
hear
it so
you, but
difficult is that it messes with your mental throughout the day. If you're so busy, you're gonna add all the additional stuff to your mind, and you ain't gonna be thinking about it. Then somebody's gonna be mad at the other person because, oh my god, the kids are gone, we're alone, let's do this. Other person like, I ain't in the mood for that. Then y'all mad at each other,
yeah,
right?
that's
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 facts.
the thing. It's like you feel different at different times of the day or whatever, or
Yeah,
days period, and it's just like so. It's like that spontaneous thing would be great, and it's just like it'd be even greater if y'all both was on the same page. Like, oh, we both feeling it. Let's hop on in. You feel me? So
like that
Yeah,
red light, green light that
yeah,
bro was talking about. So you just got to see if that green light on when you walk in the house. You look up like, oh, it's over. Never mind.
Yep. Yep.
that's
And then
facts.
and then and then now you're like red too.
That's
Yeah, yeah,
facts.
yeah.
Facts. I mean, you
But
too,
you
walk
know
in the
what?
house,
it's
she got an attitude. You
mostly
like,
a mental
nah.
I
thing
don't
for
know if
women
this is a
anyway.
bad thing, but when it doesn't happen, I have something to cope with. Not sexually, but like games or talking to my homeboys or something to take my mind off of it. You know. So
that's good. That's a good question.
mm,
If you're not getting it as often as you want and would like, then what do you do? Do you one ask for it, or do you two and you ask for it and you don't get it? Then what? How are you coping?
you do things
That's
that take your attention
that's a
away.
Yeah,
that's a loaded
exactly.
question.
Mm.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a loaded question because if you ask for it, like especially if it's a repeated thing, if you ask for it and you constantly get turned down, that turns into a problem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because then it's like, okay, so is it me?
Okay,
That's
so
no funny. You know what I'm saying? Or what's
play
the deal?
devil's advocate
I
against the
don't know.
how often. So just say if you ask for it twice, what's the number when you ask for it and she keeps saying no that you do something about it? Because the reason why I asked that is because a guy at my job asked me this. He was like, if your wife, you ask your wife for sex and she keeps telling you no, 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 what do you do? I'm like, bro, I can't tell you that because I don't know.
I think
But
it's a matter
I'm
of
like, but you
At
can,
that point, I feel like it's not
are
so
we
much
about
sex.
communication? I'm like, talk to her, but he like, man,
yeah, communicate.
so
Right.
Ask her
at
why.
that point,
Yeah, at that point, it has to be something else, like an outside factor that probably won't even be sex. That got her not in the mood. You feel me? It's probably something that is maybe the money not flowing right, or maybe something going on in her mind just ain't really been in that mood lately. It's probably not even you, just a bad timing. So just again, communicate.
Yeah,
So
and
do
that's
you
that's the
guys
biggest
feel
thing.
rejected do you feel rejected, or do you take it personal if your woman does not want to have sex?
no,
No,
Yep, I
you
ain't gonna
can't.
hold you.
You
I
can't.
do. I take it personal. I
No,
be mad
you,
as
you
hell.
can't. You can't. And I'll
Just be
say
dope.
I'll say you can't just because you don't know what she's going through. She might be tired. Just like we just said, we're going through our own stuff. We're individuals. So I don't know what's in her head. I don't know what's bothering her. So if she say no, it don't even got to be a reason. It'd be like, oh, she not feeling it. All right, next time, if you're not feeling it, let's have a conversation about it. Why is this happening? Why don't you feel up to it? And sex is very important in a relationship. Period.
Facts.
Like
Yep.
it's easily top
yeah,
three.
I agree with. I think after like the second or third no, then that's when we have a conversation. But the first no, it's like, okay, yeah, I understand, because there's been times where I done did 15, 16 hours and I come home, hey, I'm done, so don't bother me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I understand on their aspect, they might be tired, stressed out, their hormones could be messed up, whatever. So you got some leeway. But I think after that second no, then like, all right, now let's have a conversation.
Yeah, but it's also that conversation of, all right, if I'm not feeling it and you are, I might have to just find that energy just to satisfy you.
Yeah.
And that might mean, hey, babe, if you on top this time, you got to do all the work, but I'm still here. You know what I mean? Because you're not gonna get it nowhere else. You're not gonna get some pleasure nowhere else. So I gotta muster up that strength to say I'll do this for my wife and be willing.
See, okay, now realistically, like in a perfect marriage, that's cool. But in real life, like not us or anybody that we know, but just in general, most people don't compromise.
That's true.
You know what
That's
I'm saying?
facts.
Like, well,
That's true.
and that's it. And it's like, well, hold on. Like you said, you can do a little something, just help me out or whatever, and vice versa. But
That's it.
people really don't compromise.
But
Not at
that's
all.
issues in relationships. And I think, and understanding what each person's struggle is and what each person's issues are, like really talking to her, saying, hey, why not? What's going on? Filling her up, I think would help most women. But then you don't want to feel like, oh, you just only doing this because you want sex. Hopefully that's not the mindset of anybody, right? But I think also as a wife, you have to compromise. I'm going to be honest and say that this was an issue in my marriage where I was going through something hormonally and I didn't understand. I was like, no, I was so checked out. My body was not responding to anything. And I think at a point, though, I realized my husband's frustration. I'm like, man, I didn't tell him no. I was feeling guilty. I was feeling like, dang, maybe he gonna have to get a girlfriend because I don't know. Like, everything was going through my head. Really, I'm just being honest because I didn't know what to do and I didn't want him to suffer, but I couldn't. For me to do it, it felt like I was being forced and I was forcing myself and it wasn't healthy. So eventually I got to a point, though, to where I was like, okay, we brought up lazy sex, right? We're all grown. So we're going to just do it lazily. Meaning we ain't about to do no tricks, flips.
Oh, I didn't. Oh,
Well, I'm down for the sideways. Lay down. You might go to
feel me?
sleep.
hey,
You might go to sleep.
You talking about doing a 16-hour bed and being tired. You get some dead wood in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? I'll lay there. I will lay there. But, like you said, it has to, at some point, somebody has to realize something needs to change, right?
I agree.
And if there is an issue, there does need to be communication. That way, it doesn't put thoughts in your mind, because as a man, when you get rejected repeatedly, it starts to bother you. And you take that with you. Everybody can say they don't, but if your wife at the crib and she's not trying to do anything with you, your mind can run, laps.
oh yeah.
Is she cheating? Is it me?
Yeah.
Do I need to lose weight? You know what I'm saying? Do I need to make more money? The most ridiculous things, the things that that your wife wouldn't be looking for. You just start thinking it because you're not getting any answers. So unless you talk about it, you don't know about it. So you really need to talk about it if that's the case. But I'm with AK, after 2 or 3 times, I'm like, yo, let's sit down at the red table if need be. I need some answers.
Well,
I
the
need
thing
to know
that
what's going on.
well, the thing that happens too.
Do you
Oh, go ahead, bro.
Sorry about that. When you guys you have to ask for it, is it at the point where you have to literally ask, like, hey, can we have sex? Because that's like just sounds foreign to me. Like, be to that point to where you're like, we're not having sex at all, to where I gotta ask.
I hope I
like at that point to where you gotta ask the first time is now. Let's sit down and have a conversation. You know what I mean?
So, but then that means that it's not being done weekly or things like that.
Right.
So more time is going past. But have you set out your expectations?
to
Right.
be though, like he said, if you have to ask, it's something like that, especially when you sleep with somebody.
Yeah, like
it shouldn't be a point where you got to be like, hey,
yeah,
Do you mind?
like roll over it, but at that point, it's like, like I said, it's more to marriage than just sex, but that could be, because most marriages fail because of sex and finances, so it's like, come on now, like, what's going on? But I think the problem is just compromise. And then too, I think when we compromise, if we both being lazy, I'm cool with that. But if we compromise to the point where I'm being lazy and you not, or vice versa, and I think that's a problem too, because you can be laying there and I'm not no Ted Bundy or nothing. Hey, you need to do something.
Right. No, absolutely.
Throw your arm up. Let me know you're alive.
Yeah. If it get to that point, it's like, realistically, do you even want that? I know I wouldn't.
Nah.
I ain't gonna hold you up. You just lay there. I'll be straight. Just that's on you. That's on you. I'm enjoying myself.
I think if it's consistently like that, then it's a problem. But I feel like it goes back to just the communicating. Like,
Right.
why don't you want to have sex? Like, and 2, it's like, for me, I'm not, as prideful, and I'm not trying to say you prideful, but it's like, if you might have to ask sometimes, based on like, what she's going through. And it's like, if this is your significant other where, you trust her with, opening up to her, then you don't got nothing to worry about. Like,
that's when I would like peep the vibe. Like, say we were chilling out and we about to do something. I like grab her arm and I do something to try to get her turned on, and she reacts like, "No, I'm not feeling this at that moment." All right, now I just peeped that. So now let's sit down and have a conversation. We ain't gotta have sex, but what's going on? Let me talk to you. So in that conversation, that's when I'm gonna figure out exactly what's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Then we're gonna work on to fix that. So that's why I said, like, it shouldn't, like, in my opinion, it should never really get to that point of having to ask, because I'm gonna always be there to peep that and then work to fix that. You know what I mean? So this should never be a thing to where it build up, and I was just,
You get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I feel
Well,
you.
I hear you on that, man. But so with me, if I come home from work, I've been at work since 6 in the morning. I get off 6 in the afternoon because that's my work schedule. You know what I'm saying? I come home, I'm like, you know what? I'm trying to get it in tonight. You know what I'm saying? And she hits me with not tonight. I'm tired. She been at work. Her boss has been on her head. Like you said, I'm gonna peep that. But to me, I see the situation. So I don't really need to have that conversation. Now, if I do it again and it's the same thing, then I'm like, yo, is everything all right? You know what I'm saying? If work is stressing you out this much, either what can I do to help or what do we need to do? Because this is causing some conflict here. And if she gives me the straight up, like, I'm really not feeling it because I've got so much going on, then it's up to me to either say, baby, I understand, or nah, that's some BS. You don't put that on me. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna give me none because you upset. Because then you turn around like my man said, I'm no Ted Bundy. You know what I'm saying? You gotta give me some action. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm into it and she's not into it, that is a situation, man. You gotta give me some type of action.
Actually,
Even if it's a light pushback. You know what I'm saying?
I think just laying there is worse than not giving it to me at all.
Yeah, because you don't feel it. It's like, do you really want to do this?
Yeah,
now it almost feels like the R word, and I'm like, we married. That shouldn't feel like that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I think if we get to that point, I'd rather just not have it. If you're just gonna lay there like that, you might be compromising. Like, I'd rather just, go downstairs and play the game or something. Because at this point, it's like that's
part right there.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But I also
and that goes both ways. That goes both ways for us fellas too. I feel like the same thing. If she wants it and we just laying there too, like I said, it go both ways. It ain't just on her as well.
Yeah, but I will say, like Chiquita said, women are hormonal. They have stuff going on more than we do. They have periods. They have other stuff that goes on. So if we don't know about that, then that's a part of their communication to us to let us know this is happening. And we can't do anything about that. So what happens at that point? Obviously there's other ways of sex other than just, having casual normal sex, but that's up to your woman to compromise and say, all right, I can't give it to you this way. Let me try something different. Let me satisfy you in this way.
Absolutely.
Right. But if she hit you with the dead fish, you like, yo, that's not doing anything for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just lay there and be like, let's go ahead. I know you need it. Let's go ahead and get it out the way. Because then it's like, yo, that's not what I signed up for.
Right. But that's that conversation.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
Say,
exactly.
At this point I'm just talking about my marriage. In this point of our marriage, you know what I like. So if you can't satisfy me that way, well, let's have a conversation. How can we do this? What can I do? What can you do? Let's get to this point.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem between that we can all agree on, it seems like when the duration hits is when you have a problem. If you get the no, then you got some time, maybe a day or two, no, a week pass, and you have this problem. What we struggle, well, I don't know if you guys are in the same situation, but what I struggle with is I don't know what it is about women at times, but it seems like they know when you're not getting any. And you have like these, for an example, like I got a brand new car, right? It's a 23. And I'm at a store and I'm getting all these comments. And it was, of course, at the time when I wasn't getting any. And I'm sitting there like, and then I'll come on to my wife and I'll make a joke out of it, right? Because that would be something that'll kind of break the ice of why we ain't doing nothing. Maybe I'll joke about it, maybe funny, and I'll probably get something that night, So I feel like sometimes there's techniques you got to use. And I don't know if it benefits telling her that, but, I like to always be honest and upfront when things like that happen. But I don't know what it is with women in general.
I think sometimes I think the issue with women is women are not always honest about how good sex is. And our bodies changes so often. Is it echoing for y'all?
A little bit.
Somebody might have their mic, their speakers turned up so we get in the back feed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, oh yes, I still hear it. Dang it. Is somebody's speaker up? Why is it suddenly echoing? Okay. So I think in general, with women, our bodies can change, meaning like our uterus and all that changes positions at different times of the months, meaning like hitting it someone this way may not work, even though that was the favorite position before, or we may need to try something different per time we do it, or maybe the next week it may not be the same position that's comfortable. So women are not always comfortable saying, hey, that position doesn't work for me, or this is not working, or I need to be warmed up more. Especially as we get older, women need a lot more warming up. Me and y'all be ready to go, and it don't
I
always.
know. I'm guilty of that. I will admit. Because I be trying to.
Who wants to have sex if I'm not getting pleased, right? Like if I'm just,
Yeah.
it's almost like if you want to say sex is important, then I think men need to pay more attention to slowing down and really giving time to foreplay and giving time to actually pleasing the woman, massages, all type of things. You can go ahead, AK.
Uh-oh.
We
Oh,
can't
we
hear
don't
you.
hear you.
AK, you muted, bro.
Uh-oh, you muted. Yeah.
I
I still don't hear you.
Still don't hear
Yeah.
you.
Let me see if I can unmute you. Hold on. Once. Oh, nope, I can't. Yeah, it's still saying you're muted. I mean, well,
Hit the microphone button on your phone. Are you on your phone?
yeah. Nope, it's still not working.
Yeah, I can't hear him.
No, I can take it while he's trying to get his mic together. But I understand that portion of it because sometimes I kind of miss that high school sex, right? Or that fresh out of high school sex, and I do. And then especially the factors change when you have kids,
Yeah.
and my wife tells me all the time, women's body or women in general is not the same after the first kid. That's what she tells me a lot. But she is really good at still trying to be that person. But I can't expect trying to be fully that person. But I also, I appreciate the effort. But I also do understand that factor.
Yeah,
Did
it's
this
really
mic get back up? You get your mic back up, bro?
nope. It's still
No
yeah.
doubt.
I'll jump in there. So, with my relationship, so my wife is my first girlfriend, by the way. So I got very, very lucky.
Wow.
And we got together my senior year in college. So before that, I just had relations with women. Y'all know how that go. So when I was having these relations, and this is me being real, I wasn't a big kisser. Like I knew that I wanted a wife. I knew I wanted a girlfriend. So I would never kiss them in the mouth during sex. And I wasn't that intimate with them until I was like, all right, I don't know if I was saving my mouth for my wife. I don't know. But it was to the point to where once I got married, then she had to communicate like I need more foreplay when it comes to like kisses on the neck, kissing me. Like she's a big kisser, and I'm not because of my past relations, but I had to learn how she wants to be pleased and do it that way. So at that point in our relationship, it would be times where she wasn't willing to have sex, and then I'm like, all right, I know what she wants. Tongue her down, and now she's ready. I know my wife though.
Yeah. See, that's an important part of getting to know each other and what each other likes. It goes both ways. Getting to know what each person likes, and just because they like something in the beginning don't mean they like it now. So always be within those conversations of, hey, is there anything that you want? They have conversation cards out now. You can buy them on Amazon. Surprise your wives with the conversation cards, and they have all types of questions where you can really get to know each other. Ask yourself some things that you haven't asked before, or know if you want to try something kinky, or if you need something more from you. I think that'll get the interest that you have in play in getting to know her body. As women are getting to know their bodies too, women are not always so aware of what we need. We're learning along the way with you guys. I think that'll really spice up your sex lives in general.
Even if you don't get the cards, me and my wife use this app called Couply. I don't know if you guys know about it, but it's actually I'm bad at it because it's not something I do every day. I'm getting a little better at it, answering the questions and saying things. But we actually have fun with it. Y'all should try it. It's actually pretty good.
Look it up because I know about paired. Paired costs though. Does Couply cost?
There's premium versions of it, but you can still do a lot with the free version.
Okay, so I'm gonna try that one too because I know they have paired, but paired costs I think even just to use it for like the simple version. So I'm gonna try Couply. Thank you for that.
Yeah, those conversation starters with those cars, they actually, you know what I'm saying? Those are good, you know what I'm saying? Being able to speak with your wife about like different intimate things like that y'all can do, like even finding out like different things that you didn't know that your wife or your you liked about yourself.
No, that shit was.
It gives you an extra layer. Okay, so let me read some of the comments. I still have more questions, but I want to read some of the comments. I'm gonna go up. Let's see. Thank you guys for commenting. First of all, Zohampton, I know you commented a lot. I appreciate you. Alexandra, you commented. Robin, thank you guys for commenting. I'm going to read the most recent comment. Mel B says not sponsored. Absolutely not sponsored. I know Robin and Mel were talking about you, Moan, in terms of you trying to get back in with get back in good with your wife tonight. So you can Robin said, what you like changes with the years, though. It's constant communication, really. And I totally agree. It really is. So maybe having check-ins. I know sometimes when I work with couples and I'm really big on checking in. And even me and my husband, we do it regularly. Sometimes he'll ask me generally, like, hey, is there anything that I can do better that you need me to do or change? And same, I'll ask him, is there anything that you need me to do or anything that I can do better? Anything that, I've done and you don't like and we want to speak up about it. Really giving yourself either that weekly check-in, because a lot can go on, especially if you have busy lives. That weekly check-in is really helpful. But if not weekly, at least every month, making sure every month you check in with each other. No, you're fine. Just ask those questions is so important, please. It really gets to know each other.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
What you say, AK?
You guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right.
Did you want to say what you were gonna say?
Yeah, the lady, Robin, I see that she was saying that why is it so hard for people to talk about everything but sex. I remember you just said you feel that on how the body, the female body, computers move and hormones and stuff like that. So how one thing works.
It's breaking up again. Dang it!
Okay.
I know you. I know you over it at this point. Okay. I don't know. Did you turn your Wi-Fi or turn it back on? Maybe that might be the issue. Okay. Let me see. It was another question I wanted to put up here because it was really good. Somebody said,
I turned it off and turned it back on. Can y'all hear me?
oh yes,
Yeah, you good now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So you were saying about women's bodies, and then it's muted.
He's done.
He gonna throw that phone behind him.
He's gonna go flying in a minute.
You're like, this is too much. Okay.
I'll be right back. I gotta step away for a quick second.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Thank you.
Y'all can't hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know what was going on here.
Let's see. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep, I hear you.
Okay, I think it's probably the way I was holding the phone. She was saying that why is it acceptable to talk about anything else but sex? I think it's just because, just like how you were saying, like your body changes. I don't think nobody likes to hear that they're bad at sex or this is not working for them. But also, I think it's important that you guys, especially as women, say, well, this is not working for me. Can you just do that? And I think as men, we should be able to receive that, because I remember being younger. Like if somebody said that didn't work, I used to be like, what? Like that was my, that was my special move. But getting older, you realize like everybody's body is different. Everybody don't feel the same way in certain positions. So I think that's another thing too. And that goes back to the biggest thing we was talking about, communication.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Thank you for saying that. Zoe Hampton said it was nice meeting you all and chatting.
Yeah, see you, bro.
Hit up the SCD podcast. Great topic.
Yeah, that's my other podcast. It's all about sports. So if you guys are interested, go on there. I have another host who runs that show. I do all the things in the background, but they're sports enthusiasts. So they're on Wednesdays at 8:00. Yep, they're on our channel. Yep,
okay,
they're a different segment. Yep, every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Oh, nice. Okay. Thank you. So you guys had great topics with great opinions. Thank you so much, so for tuning in. Okay. Let me go to some more questions. If you guys need to leave, please let me know. I wasn't planning on the show going past the hour and 30, so we'll be wrapping up soon. If it's too long, y'all can check out if you need to.
Okay.
But I have a lot of questions, so we might have to just do a part 2 after a while because I don't think we're gonna get to everything.
Not a problem. I'll be here.
Okay, cool. Let me see what I want to ask next. It says, we kind of talked about that one. Okay, so this one said, what ways do you continue to learn your spouse throughout the years?
Playing games. Because like what I would say, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear
Oh,
you.
no, like my favorite game as a youth is like Tunk. So coming and playing like Tunk with my wife or even Uno. Like that's real competitive because we started playing with the kids. I want to say over the past year or so, and then it's a lot of questions. Like those games started question that we had talked about earlier. That is another good way to actually that me and my wife has been doing. I don't know where our communication had ended up leaving off because it seemed like we were on and off at times. But I would say mainly it was because of me. But we do have 3 kids in our household as well.
3 little kids, like 3 under 3, right? Well,
Right.
how old? Okay.
So my 2 kids are 13 months apart. And then I got a 1-year-old right now. So I got a 5, 4, and 1-year-old all in the house. So with that, it's different things that it's different emotions in my house, I would say. But learning my wife and like relearning my wife, because as we get older, we're not going to continue to, you know what I'm saying, stay the same. And I know we probably I'm gonna say this, but by the time you end up passing away, you're gonna be like, oh man, I got this mold on my hand and didn't know that mold was on your hand the whole time. And then you just like, oh, but you got to keep on relearning the person you are and then the person that you with.
I agree. Robin said you obviously been getting it in because no, absolutely.
To answer the question for myself, for me, I observe a lot of people, and so with the person I love, my wife, I observe her a lot. I like watch her habits, how she may like move,
Make you blush on camera, okay?
how she moved during certain times. Another thing is like when we watch TV, like if we watch like a show like Love Is Blind or something, and how people are acting on the show, and then her having like commentary and stuff, and you kind of see like, oh, she thinking like them, or oh, she think this right, or she don't think that's right, and it's just like just observing that and just taking notes, like mental notes. It gets you in a place where you get to know them better. So
yeah, Dom, her green light on, bro. You're doing something right.
I see the smile, bro.
Yeah, man. But, I'll piggyback off him and just say, just pay attention for real. Being observant of their antics. You know them. You spend the most time with them. Y'all sleep together. You know if something's off. You know if something's wrong. So if you're actually paying attention and not too much worrying about what else is going on, work, other things, family, you paying attention to who matters most, and that's your wife. Asking those uncomfortable questions and then getting to the point to where she's vulnerable enough to say that to you and say what's going on this year, this month, this day. That's where you need to. That's when you know that you're a good husband, where you've been intentional about what's serving her.
You know, and that's crazy because a lot of times, you know, like I said, we chase the dream of being that perfect husband. And a lot of times we already doing the stuff that needs to be done. You know, we pay attention, you know, we pick up what they're putting down, even when it comes to an attitude. You know when your wife's upset, you know when she's happy. And at the end of the day, at least to me, I feel like that's what the whole goal is for you to know your partner. You know what I'm saying? The way you feel like you may know yourself. The other, I'm not gonna say fictional, but the way it's portrayed as being a perfect husband, where you come home and you're like, hey, got a stack of money for you, go get your nails done, come back whenever you want. You know, that's not always what they want. It's cool, it's a great gesture, but that's not exactly what they want all the time. You know, like I said, it's the outside looking in. You're looking at what people think you should be doing when you're already doing what you need to be doing.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's social media and movies is what makes me observe her, because we'll be watching a movie and something will happen and she'll be like, well, I agree or disagree, and I'll be like, well, I never know you felt like that, or like one of the biggest things was we was watching the new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and the guy, I don't know if you guys watched the show, but the guy was cheating on his wife while she was sick with the lady, and he brought her to the party after she died or whatever, and the lady figured it out, and my wife was like, I'll say something to him. And I'm like, well, why would you do that? And she like, because that was my friend and all of that. So it was like, just social media and movies really brings out people perspective, because there's a lot going on in movies and a lot going on social media. Every day it's a new question on social media. Who's splitting bills? How you splitting bills? If you go through your girl phone, if you go through your man phone, there's always something. And I think with that type of stuff going on, I always find out something that I never knew, and or find out something that's beneficial for us as a couple.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think with my situation is a little different because things have came into play in my household. So I just recently changed jobs, and my wife works from home, and now I work from home again. I used to work from home during the pandemic, and I changed. That's one factor where I'm put in a situation where we spend more time with each other, even though we're working. We spend more time with each other. The second factor that plays with us is we got a newborn. My daughter is 6 months, so
Well,
both of us, thank you, both of us have our attention towards her, which brings attention to each other. For an example, we know how to read each other's mind when we smell. Not trying to be funny, but we smell a dirty diaper, and we look at each other and want us to be like, I got it, and we got that language between our eyes, of learning each other. The other factor that really helps me learn my wife, the Couply app is good, so we use that. Well, I got to get better because I'm not used to the app, so that's not the first. And then I do all this content creation, so sometimes I fall off from the app, but she gets on me, and I get on and I do what I need to do. But the circle that I have around us helps me learn my wife. Her friends, even though I've known her for so long, her friends, she has this one friend that's just deeply rooted to her, and I can go to her at any point in time and talk to her about my wife. I know what she's going to say, but it's just that other person outside of my wife that I can talk to without it being a problem, that helps me learn more things about it or give me ideas. For an example, the friend I'm talking about was the one I picked her up, and we went to MJ Diamonds, and I got her a ring, and I got her friend's suggestion, like, hey, what is she like? Because I'm bad at like asking my wife, and then it sounds like a dead giveaway. Now she's going to expect it's not a surprise. So she helps me with that, that type of deal. And my friends like Ralph and Zoe and everybody else, we have this inner circle to where we don't tell each other what to do with our wives. That's one rule that we have. But we try to get advice from each other to try different things. And we go home and we try that thing. Not a bad thing. We don't go, none of my boys will tell me you need to go over there and cuss her out. None of that, But it's one of those things where we get some advice, we'll try it because they have tried it. And then I'll find out, oh, my wife likes this too, And then my wife is really good at planning. I'm not. I'm a guy. I don't know if that's all guys. That's just me. I'm spontaneous when it comes to trips and all that stuff, right? Yeah. So what I like to do is I like for her to think she does it though. She'll be like, wow, you got to be one to think. But I like when she does that. So the next time I do it, I take it to the next level. So if we go to this restaurant and we get this certain thing, maybe I want to do a scavenger hunt the next time I want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Put a letter on here, try to find me this and that. And we still go to that restaurant, but it's times 2 at that point. So we just have a lot of factors that helps me learn her. And me being at home and seeing her 24/7, at first it irritated me when the pandemic hit. I'm like, man, oh my God, I'm looking at you when I go to bed. I look at you when I wake up in the morning, and now I'm looking at you while I'm working. And I've matured a little bit. Well, not a little bit, a lot of it. I actually enjoy being here with her now. I mean, Ralph knows because I got out of working from home, so I don't have to be there so I can enjoy her at one point in time. But now I'm at home. We got this new baby, and I just feel like I'm just so much more in love with her again. you know. So, and that's just all my factors of how I'm going to continue to learn her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. King and Ralph, did you guys want to go? Or
Oh, my bad. I missed the question.
yeah, you
My
did.
bad.
Okay. No.
I went to the bathroom. My bad.
So I only asked, in what ways have you been learning your wife throughout the years? Like, do you learn your partner throughout the years?
That is most definitely communication. It was, like I said, it was very minimal because, like I said, my problems were my problems and her problems were my problems, but my problems were never hers, and it kind of created a barrier at times because she couldn't understand what was going on with me. So it was, I don't know, it was, like I said, it was just a wall that I put up that didn't need to be there. The more we talk, the more I understand, the more I could talk to her, the more I realize she won't judge me with the things that I say. And mind you, we're married. I shouldn't expect her to judge me, but like I said, the way I was brought up, you suck that stuff up and you keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? So knowing for a fact that when she says, you know what, I don't care what you're going through. I don't care if you cry. I don't care if you're upset. I don't care if you want to cuss somebody out over the littlest thing. I got your back. You know what I'm saying? That right there helped me open up more and also help her to open up more to me, because she also felt like she was constantly putting a lot of stress on me, and she thought that all of my stress was just from her, and it wasn't. It was me carrying my own stuff. So relieving a lot of that dead weight, we're still learning new things, with everything, and like you said, sometimes you got to ask the question, what should I be doing different in the bedroom? We done open up a whole new world here recently, and I'm not gonna get all into it, but it just took a conversation. Things I didn't know that she may be interested in, things that I didn't know she wanted to do or try, places all the way down to the places she may want to go. Like right now, I can give you a list of the things she's stressed out about. Of course, I'm thinking about how I can help her out with that, but she can also tell you what I'm stressed about. And that's, I'm not going to say is new, but it's still a lot of things that we're learning that bother each other. And we try to find ways to help each other. So, I feel the moment you stop learning is the moment when you're done. And I plan on learning something new every day. And even if it isn't every day, every week, every year, something, you never know anybody from the top to the bottom, and you shouldn't. You should always have something new to give or something new to bring to the table. And that's my thing. I plan on always trying to bring something new to the table. So I think as long as we constantly communicate, we'll continue to learn each other, and our relationship will continue to grow. Our love will continue to grow, and we'll keep it moving.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you. King, do you want to go?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. I definitely agree with the bits and pieces what everyone said, but the number one thing, just like over the years, just experience, show different repetition of certain things. So able to sit back and observe that, just working on seeing those things, and then when those change, willing to adapt to that, and just being there. Having an open eye, focusing on certain, focus on, and just being there. Like I said, bits and pieces of what everybody said.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you all. I know the time is winding down, and I'm mad because I got a million questions. But I'm trying to see which ones is the most important. I really want to ask 2 questions, 2 or 3 more questions. So for the next couple of questions, if everybody can keep it kind of short. I hate saying that because this is a space. Then let me know, because I really want to get these questions in. So women want to know, what made you choose your spouse, or when did you know you want to marry her? Simply because women who are dating really are trying to understand if the man they're with is the man that's gonna marry them, or if he's not, like when he's gonna do it, how do he know? And so, to you guys, when did you know you were going to marry your wife, and when or how did you know?
Well, when I first met Alex, and I'll try to keep it short as possible. I think after we dated for about a year, I told her without even knowing that one day I'm gonna marry you. I just told her that, and we separated for years, and we're married again. What made, if I'm answering the question right, what made me knew it was her, right, was when my family was saying that's the one you need to be with, and my homeboy writing her that letter. You know, all the people around me show me how important she is to me in my life. So that's when I was like, all right, I got to quit playing, and this is the one. That's the short story.
So kind of like just your friends confirming for you, like, oh no, she's
Friends and family, when they're all on the same page and they don't even talk to each other, that's when I'm like, okay, I got to do something about it. All the signs are there. And then that person is right when you feel good on the inside.
That was my thing for me. One, when my wife at the time decided to approach me, I had nothing. Like I'm talking about, I was at the lowest of the low, and I wasn't used to dealing with somebody that wasn't looking for something, right? And she, from day one, well, I'm not gonna say from day one, but because when we first started talking, I was dealing with somebody, and I told her straight up, and she said, "When that don't work out, let me know." And I'm like, "Oh wow, okay." Well, she ain't playing no games, and and as she said, it didn't work out, and she pulled up like I said before, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna keep playing games, or we're gonna make this happen. And I'm like, we'll try it out. And like I said, I had nothing. You know what I'm saying? I did not have a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? I was going through some things, and she was right there by my side. You know what I'm saying? I didn't ask her to be. I didn't say, "Man, I really need your help." She was like, "Look, I can tell you're going through something. I got you." And I'm not talking about financially. She was like, "You need an ear? I'll be your ear. You need to get away? We can go somewhere." And I'm like, I've never really had anybody to hop in my corner like that. And the more time we spent with each other, the more I realized that it was real. It wasn't just a game to get me. I wasn't being played like, we used to play games in high school. She was spitting real talk. It wasn't just a game. And I'm like, damn, I'm gonna end up having to marry this one. I ain't never dealt with this before. And even then, I was skeptical. My boys were like, yo, I mean, she's done everything right. She's been there. And Moan's like, yo, I don't know what you're waiting on.
Exactly.
Now, you got a good point. And I'll never forget, unfortunately, we didn't get married before we had my youngest daughter. But I'll never forget, we were at the beach and she was sitting there. And I'm like, this is it. This is where I want to be. This is my happy spot. I've never felt better. So, it had to be done. You know what I'm saying? And I'm happy I did.
Yes.
I'll go, man. First of all, my wife is drop dead gorgeous to me. That was the first physical attraction, but even deeper than the surface, she's just a natural nurturer. And I come from Detroit. It's pretty rough in Detroit. My mom, I come from a single parent household, so my mom had to be both mom and dad. And I'm the youngest of three boys too, so my mom didn't even have time to nurture me because she was so hard on me. So when I figured out my like when she came into my life when we started dating, she immediately started taking care of me, and I thought she was a unicorn. I'm like, what is happening right now? I'm in a frat. I'm a Kappa. She's an AKA. I come in from a frat meeting and she's in my apartment. She didn't even go to my school. She's in my apartment, washing my clothes, cleaning the house, and making spaghetti at the same time. And I'm like, who is this woman? I would be a plum fool not to marry her. At least see where this go. And she took care of my boys. Like these guys said, my boys was like, if you don't, they didn't say this, but I think if I didn't marry her, my boys would have.
Yeah.
Because she's amazing, man. And not only that, when we were dating, she had 3 jobs at the time, so she come from the hood, but she know how to wear different hats. And she's a grinder. Just recently, I started my production company. She started my LLC for me. She opened up my bank account and she put 10K in it. So I don't have a woman. I don't have a beautiful black woman behind me, but beside me. So,
hey, I'll send you my bank account, bro.
Yeah, slide me a couple of them. I see you some cash out. You know what I'm saying?
I love that. Thank you for sharing.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up.
I'll go next. For me, how I knew my wife was the one. I just remember like meeting her. We met via social media on Instagram/Facebook, kind of sort of in a way. And for me, I was just like super just happy all the time. And I'm like, that's not usually me. I'm just like laid back, chill. But when I met her, I was like always in this good mood. And I remember working at the time. I was at Olive Garden, and I was serving, and this lady was like, "Why you look so happy?" And I'm like, it was just random. And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know, just happy." And then she was like, "You must have found somebody." Like complete stranger. And she says this to me, and I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." And I just remember going out like on our first date. Um, we went to Olive Garden, and then we went to Target, then we went to the park. And I just remember just like walking around the park or whatever, and looking at my wife, and I swear the sun was just like shining on this particular part of her body, and I'm just
Oh.
I don't know, it was
Look
like
at that boy.
a spotlight just came down, and it was something that's like, yeah, she's the one. And ever since that day, I always wanted to just like talk to her all day, every day. I wanted to be with her all day, every day. It was
That's what's
nothing
up.
like force. Nobody had to tell me like, oh yeah, you should do this. It was just like all just natural. Like we just connected, we clicked like that, and I knew she was the one after that.
Thank
Oh
you.
yeah.
Signs from above.
That green light is doing. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks, babe. Okay. Who want to go next? Our time is just melting away. I hate it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, I'll hop in right quick. So can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I say this may sound weird, but I told my wife that I was gonna marry her in high school. And we had like one class together. And they ended up switching our class, and I don't know, like I said, I met her and I always told her I was gonna marry her. We separated, we hadn't even dated, we hadn't had any physical contact or anything like that. And 4 years go by and we end up getting actually together. And financially, I was still in college. My wife had already completed college. She was working on her master's degree, and I was still working on my bachelor's degree. And with that, it was like the line, like shining over. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. But dang on 4 years later, it took me 4 years to get with the woman of my dreams, and then another 3 years after that, when we finally got married and we had our kid. Because once I had found out like we were having a son, when she was pregnant. I had planned on proposing to her before I found out that she was pregnant. And then once I found out she was pregnant, that's when we actually just sealed the deal and got married in 6 weeks.
Y'all sure
So,
did.
What's up?
That y'all, man. Yeah.
Are we all from Detroit on here?
Yeah.
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 Oh,
What
that's
up,
what's up.
dog?
All right. Yeah.
What up, though?
So,
Okay, King, AK, do you guys want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. I never wanted to get married, to be honest. So it was a bit of shock for me, especially for me and my friends and my family. But it was the nurturing, the communication, and the selflessness that she showed, kind of like how my mother was to me growing up. So I think that really made me gravitate towards her. And that was something that she was always talking about from day one. You know, married, she would like to be married. So, you know, we sat and talked about it, especially like during the pandemic, because we had nothing but time. And, you know, we talked about it, you know, kind of frequently. And it was just like, you know, why not? Like, what really can it hurt? Even though, you know, some financial stuff and other stuff that can come bad from it. But it was like, what's the point of thinking about the bad? Just go in with good intentions and then just see what happens. And I proposed at the end of the pandemic of 2020, right around her day before her birthday, actually.
Wow.
That's what's
Wow.
up.
It's beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, King, do you want to go? I know, King, you're not married officially, but you guys been together for a while. I guess my question to you is, what's the hold up? Why am I putting you on spot? I don't know. But like, what are maybe that's not okay, guys. I'm sorry. Look at her looking like,
Gotcha.
but I guess, I mean, are you planning to get married? Or is that something that you want to do? King, like, why are you putting me out here like this? I'm sorry.
No, you good. I definitely plan on marrying. Just getting everything lined up, and when the time is right, it's gonna happen. When we first met each other, we weren't really talking to date. We were just genuine friends, and it built off that, and it built like a different type of bond. You know, like it was inseparable for real. Like we would just talk about anything, and then like over the years and over just not even years, just over time, quick. It was like all I cared about was making sure she had a good life, and it was like I promised her way back then, like no matter what, I'm gonna make sure you got a good life. So it's like I've just been doing what I told her I was gonna do from the start. So it's not really something that I've like noticed one day. This is what I want to do since day one. And like I said, like I definitely plan on marrying her someday, just when everything is right and I can give her the wedding she wants and everything can be planned out like that. That's gonna happen for sure. But until then, we good.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
for
what's
that.
up, bro. Happy for you, and I'm happy for all you fellas, man.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah, man.
It's a loneliness pandemic out here, epidemic, and a lot of people are lonely and don't have anybody and/or really trying to work out their relationship. So I really appreciate you guys and being upfront. I wish we had more time. I have so many more questions. I guess my last question to you guys that I could possibly fit in is how are you taking care of your mental health? I guess that's the last question I could possibly fit in at this moment. How are you taking care of your mental health? Being in marriage is not easy. If you're a father and a man, that's not easy. Balancing all those things, balancing your own career and having a life in general is hard. How are you guys taking care of yourselves?
For me,
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, you good. For me, I'll say therapy. Especially coming from Detroit. I don't know if you guys have this similar scenario happen to y'all, but I have never heard of therapy. I've heard of it, but I heard it in a negative light and being a bad thing. I need help. But seriously, since I've been in therapy, and I'll speak therapy to any and everybody because it's truly amazing. It gives you that opportunity to be vulnerable and speak your truth, even outside of your relationship, to really focus on you, get your thoughts out, even if they're bad or good, and then not be able to like, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. I can't say it, but Robin's husband, like he said, he he bottled things in. So to be able to let that out instead of lashing out on my wife, that's one of the main things that help with my communication. And then like Jakita said, women are very sensitive. Well, I wouldn't say sensitive. I would say like
Emotionally driven for sure.
Emotionally driven, soft, very, they're like a delicate flower. You got to like really nurture them, take care of them, and water them. So being able to bring my emotions down, bring my passions down as a man, and talk to her like she's not only a person, but she is a flower. That's one of the main things that helped me. And not treating her like a kid, but also respecting her enough to talk to her like she's an adult and like she got some sense. So that's what I'll say.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree with that. What's crazy is I'm glad you brought that up, and I know we're over. I won't take too much time. We actually had an episode about men's mental health. It's our episode 26, and it's called "Mental Health: You versus You," and we give our inputs about that. My solution is the same thing that he said: is you get some counseling, talk to somebody. That's the only way you're gonna. That's the medicine for you to take care of your mental health. You know, I know my homeboy, he bottles everything in, but he can also agree with speak to somebody. Hold the stuff in is not bad because when your back is up against the wall, who knows what happens? It's how you get these things in the news, you know. So, but that's just my input. You know, if you guys want to go check it out, because we did talk about it that in depth. Maybe we'll have a part 2 about that and include you fellas on it. You know, since we met you guys. But my thing is, I'm with him. Therapy, I believe, is the solution, and not just therapy with just anybody. Some actual professional help. Don't go to your peoples, your friends, and all that. They know you, but it's more of those. What do you call it? It's a bias situation. You know, you can't really they're going to be in your favor no matter what, and you won't get the real out of somebody you don't know. And another thing I like to add to it, I mean, we're all African American. Get somebody African American, get somebody that can relate to you. I understand they want to throw, anybody, but you have a choice of who you want to talk to. Get somebody that can relate to you culture wise, age wise,
religion.
Yeah, religion, yep, everything, and then you can really treat your mental health.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'll say for myself is which was said earlier, just finding, just a space where you can, for me to just do something on your own, like, because it's like we're individuals, and it's like I just feel like sometimes you just need to find something to do outside of, you and your wife or whatever. And for me, that brings me some type of peace at times, and yeah, that's how I take care of some of my mental health issues. Is just finding myself just meditating or just listening to some music, watching some TV or something, just taking myself away from some of the life stresses, so like work or something, just not even think about it, just watch something positive or something like that. So
Unplugging, because we all need to unplug sometimes.
That's actually what I was going to say. Sometimes for me, taking care of my mental health is unplugging, most definitely. And not just, from, the family or the wife, just sometimes just having your own time to yourself. With me, I do some drag racing. I get on the game a lot. I play PlayStation 5. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's my real getaway, especially when most of my real friends and family live all in Detroit and I'm here in North Carolina. I don't have any like blood siblings or anything here. I also surround myself with a particular group of people, a circle that is not going to sit here and BS me. If I'm wrong, they'll tell me I'm wrong. I can come to Moan at any point in time. By the way, for those that can't tell, Moan's my right hand man. That's one of my best. That's my best friend, right? So he's not going to give me no BS. If I'm wrong, he'll say, "Hey, man, that's wrong." You know what I'm saying? I know you feel this way, but it's wrong, and I appreciate that more than anything because a lot of times you'll get friends that'll tell you what you want to hear, and it doesn't help the situation. And I've done therapy before. I have nothing against therapy. It can get a little expensive if you ain't got great insurance, but therapy works great as long as you have an outlet and you're not doing what I used to do, which is just bottle everything up. I feel that that's the best way to a better mental health.
A healthy outlet, right? Like not like
Oh yeah, it's got to be a healthy outlet.
Yeah.
You can't turn to a bottle. You can't turn to drugs. That doesn't do anything.
Yeah. And I was gonna say that the gym too. The gym is my sanctuary. I work out like 6-7 times a week, and that truly helped me. So
yeah, gym is a good alcohol to have. I tell you that.
You're so
facts. That's facts.
Because once you get addicted to it, and when you don't go that one day, it's bad.
Okay. King AK, you guys want to share your mental health?
Working out, definitely, putting your body under that stress to, release that stuff. And also if you're lucky enough to kind of therapy, but if you can find somebody that's either in your family or like a older mentor that's done what you're doing before, even if it's talking about a relationship, telling you, hey, no, man, it's kind of soft, you to toughen up, or even showing you how to do something where you don't got to bump your head so many times. Like finding somebody that could basically help you walk through this life and not be alone. So if you got that, that'll definitely help take out a lot of your, like you're not so just trying to figure everything out. You kind of right direction to go, and you just got to go.
Yeah, thank you. I like that.
Yeah, I kind of agree. With me, I've been fortunate enough to where I have, both of my parents. They are great listeners. They understand. Also with my friends. So for me, just talking to them, especially my dad, I consider him my best friend. So like talking to my dad, he keeps everything, real, no matter if it's good for me or bad for me. He let me know the truth. And also for me is ESPN, the video games, and FanDuel.
Nice.
Nice.
That keeps me
you know, because I pretty much do everything I like to do. Even my job, like I love my job. That could be therapeutic, even though sometimes them people on there get on my nerves. But you know, that's therapeutic for me. Like everybody was saying, pretty much just your me time. So like my me time would be just me watching the red zone, or me playing a game, or me just reading a book, whatever. You know, it's just me doing what I want to do at that time, and nothing else matters at that time. And I think that's a big thing, especially for Black men. And I think that the mental health thing, people think just because when we talk about mental health, you got to have something wrong with you. It's nothing. Nothing has to be wrong with you to want to help with your mental health. It's making sure that nothing goes wrong if it's nothing wrong. And if it is something wrong, it's making sure that it stays in a good space. So I think that's frowned upon too. When we say mental health, people automatically assume that it's something wrong with that person.
Hey, Jakita, real quick. Hey, Ralph, my bad. I apologize. So I don't know why the name just popped up on my screen.
Same here.
Same here. Same here. No, it's all good. It's all good.
Put the
Look,
comments up. When you put it erases the name until you.
Yeah, probably
really,
get that.
Mhm.
hey, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I remember some of y'all names. I'm like, man, I hope they don't have to say nobody's name.
That's
You
what-
know what I'm saying? I
You
was
got hit
trying.
with that. Hey man,
I was
hey,
like,
what's
hey,
up?
you know, as my man said over there. You know,
Red shirt.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
I want to thank you guys so much. Do you guys have any last questions, comments that you want to share with anybody, either women or men who are in relationships or in marriage, or any lasting comment you want to have? Please take it. Anything you want people to follow you on, the projects you're doing, you want people to hit it up or whatever. Just say what you need to say. Say your piece. This is your time.
Big dog, Money Mom.
Well,
Just about to pay.
so our sport. I hear AK like sports. So our sports channel is going on right now. I'm looking at the fellas you're talking. So you can check them out now. They'll be off in a few minutes. Sometimes they go for an hour and a half, but they'll be off by 9. Also, our recent episode coming up is How Important is Family, and that'll be this Sunday at 3:00. So I'd love to have you guys. What I'll do is I'll do this. So that'll be in the comments, our webpage. Whenever you guys get an opportunity, take a look at it. But other than that, I just put it in your live chat, so it always pop up when they go to this portion of the video. But hey, fellas, I appreciate you guys, man. You guys remind me of a lot of the fellas I hang around with, even Ralph. And I love to see that there's a lot more, mature men out there who actually value relationship and marriage. And I don't know if you guys have a certain religion, but I'm Christian, and that's what I believe in. Even if you didn't believe in it, you guys are awesome. So our podcast is a little bit more raw. We say a little bit more things, but we also touch on the things in life, at time. Man, my voice is getting hoarse.
It's okay.
But Jakita, I appreciate you having me on. I love to have you guys on my show one day. Whenever you guys want to. Hopefully we can keep communication with you guys, and hopefully I get to know you guys some more, man.
Yeah,
so that's my invitation out to you.
Same sentiments. Moan, I'll jump in and say I'm Christian as well, and one thing I was going to say is Jakita listened to God and brought us here together to orchestrate. So this all happened for a reason. So I appreciate you guys sharing your thoughts and being on here as well. Like I said earlier, I'm an actor, writer, producer, director. My production company is Curt Mattison Experiences. I'm screenwriting. I am dropping movies and TV shows. I have 2 pilots, written TV pilots, and I'm pitching feature films as well. So be on the lookout for me and follow me on Facebook, Instagram at Curt.Mattison. And then from there, you can see everything that we're doing. And if you can support. And much love to y'all.
Thank you.
Does your website have these buildings in front of it, or am I looking at the wrong one?
So right now, we just started like 2 months ago. So we're brand new.
Okay.
So the best thing
to
do is follow us on Instagram for sure at Curt Mattison Experiences. And I don't know what you did to send it to Jakita, but I'll get it to her.
Yes. Can you tell him what to do, Mom, so he can know, and you can just put it on the live?
Yeah.
It's probably something you can tap, maybe.
I just need to find Instagram real quick, and then I'll throw it in the chat.
Yeah, if you're on your phone or if you're on your laptop, if you can cut the link, put it in there and copy it into the comments. It'll
Got
pull
it.
up for everybody to see. You best believe I'm gonna go ahead and follow, man. I do support, any and everybody, you know what I'm saying? Especially if y'all here trying to do positive things. I do have to say I appreciate you fellas as well. This is real positive. This is a positive podcast. There was no slander, there was no harsh words, there was no bad information. All experiences, all great learning experiences as well. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna take a couple of things that both King, AK, Dom, and Curt, done said. You know what I'm saying? You can tell Curt, boy, he head over heels for his wife, man. He said the most beautiful
Yeah, I
thing
love
he's
it. I
ever
love to
seen in
see
his
it.
life. You know what I'm saying? I
You
love
better
it,
know
bro.
it.
I love it. I love
You
it.
better know it.
Hey, I ain't gonna hold you up. You probably made it good with my wife. I don't know what to expect when I go upstairs. I'm looking
Man, I'm
forward to
trying
it
to
though.
tell you, bro. I'm like, man, she must have came
I
down
can't
from the
wait to
heavens
go
with the glitter
upstairs.
and everything, boy.
So I might not see you on the game tonight.
Yeah, I get that. I feel you on that. Kid, I really appreciate it. This is a great open spot for us to be honest, and to let hopefully a couple women understand, the type of things we go through and the things that we think that we may not always express. So I do appreciate you for using that platform for this situation. Hopefully, you might, if you didn't get all your questions out, I'm always down for a part 2. You know what I'm saying? You just let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Oh yeah, and Curt, if you don't mind, we have a section on our website called Our Friends, and people that have things that go on. We have business consultants, we have stores, we have content creators. They're on this page for people to find people like you. If I can get your permission, man, I'll throw you on there.
That's nice.
Absolutely, man. I would
Okay.
appreciate that. And
All
any
right.
any contact communication, we can do that too.
Okay. And the same for all you fellas. If you got something going on, you want me to throw you on the page, let me know. And Jaquita, I can't find them, so send it to me on the Facebook Messenger,
Okay.
and I'll post it on your YouTube comments.
Okay.
And King, you last of the Mohicans, brother.
King
You
and
next.
AK, I don't think AK went either.
I definitely enjoyed the show. It was a lot of great conversation. Jaquita, Dom, appreciate y'all both y'all giving me the opportunity to come on.
Absolutely.
I just enjoyed a lot of different points of view, a couple eye-opener points, and just I enjoyed it. I plan to come back soon, so keep me posted.
Thank you so much, King.
No problem.
AK, I think you didn't go bait either. So
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I like talking a lot, especially about like different ideas and different perspectives of everything. I'm not religious at all, so that's another show. But I would like to come back for the more questions for sure.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for being here.
Yep.
Babe, you're the last person. So I'm gonna let y'all know Kenzie's computer died, so he left. He needed to charge it up, but
Okay.
Well, I'm proud of you, babe. I'm glad you went through and put this show on.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. For the people that are viewing it, don't give up hope. It's somebody for everybody out there. Just stay consistent and find your one.
And do the self work, please. Please do the self work. Please.
I mean, hey, it's different relationships out here, but yeah, y'all gonna find y'all.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. I really can't thank you guys enough. Please, I am open to part 2 because I still have so many more questions. But let me know how you guys are feeling, and I will let you guys know if you're willing to come back. Probably sometime in December or the beginning of next year. We can do this part 2 again, maybe with some more people, maybe just with you guys. Thank you guys so much. Again, I am a therapist, and I am also I help couples, men, women with relationship issues, with anxiety, with just helping the personal development within themselves. So if you or anyone who is looking for a therapist, a relationship therapist, someone to help them also with dating support, because I do help people with dating, with their dating journey as well. You can hit my website up at jakitareed.com. That's JAKITAREED.com, and to let me know. Thank you guys for joining and watching our show. Thank you to everyone who's commented. Thank you to everyone who supported all of the guests and / hosts on here. Thank you so much, Robin. I appreciate you. And check out my other podcasts, The Married Millennial. I have other episodes. There aren't videos, but maybe I'll start doing videos because this is super fun. They're audios, but you can check them out on Apple Podcasts, Google, and Spotify. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night and talk to you later.
Thanks for having
See you,
us.
fellas.
Gentlemen, y'all be easy.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.